Okay, so my name's Gerry. I work for EcoACTIVE on the Hackney Buzzline.
So I'm Sally. I've been involved in the East London Waterworks Park for the last 5 years and got involved in setting up this wildlife park through that.
And we're here at the Leaside Centre next to the River Lea, where EcoACTIVE is based. And we are standing in the Leaside Centre Wildlife Garden, which we made, what was it, 2 years ago?
2 years ago.
Yeah, we came out on, it was very cold weather and pouring with rain, I remember.
Rain one day, definitely.
Yeah, we had a lot of heavy physical labour.
Yes, we started off with a lot of volunteers, and I think when the weather went bad, there were less. It's done incredibly well. Basically, these 3 beds, or the 2 that you can see there, are especially dry beds, which we modelled on ideas by a gardener called John Little, who's been pioneering growing in all sorts of reclaimed materials, which is something for Waterworks Park I'd been looking into already, and I'd been on a course with John Little. So certainly for the dry beds, I specified what to put in them and decided that because there was very little budget, that seeding them would be the best approach. And obviously Gerry, knowing a lot more about pollinators and things than me, gave me a list of plants.
Yeah.
And any that weren't in the seed mix, we sourced as tiny little plug plants, which we put in November, which they actually survived amazingly.
Yeah, so I should say this has been built on a car park. It's a big expanse of concrete. And before we did it, it was obviously completely barren. There was no wildlife here at all. We're right next to an allotment, a good source of insects and other animals. And what we did, apart from putting in the beds, was we did actually depave some of the car park. It was a very tough job because the concrete was so thick. So we could only do small patches, but we created a bed under the sycamore tree here. And another patch over there. As you can see, we've also put in a pond here as well. And over the rest of the concrete, just covered it with wood chip. So you get a much softer, nicer, more natural area. Over there, there's a bee bank made of sand and other substrates. A bee hotel over there, a log pile over there. Very good for invertebrates and small mammals and reptiles and amphibians. We even cut a hole in the iron railings there to make a hedgehog tunnel so hedgehogs can come through, because there are hedgehogs in the area. And we've seen amazing results from this. We've had grass snakes here.
Yep.
And frogs. We've now got newts breeding in the pond. And in terms of the pollinators, we have an amazing array of different bees and butterflies who are visiting and foraging on the plants that we've selected especially for them. Even today, when we're in mid-September now, it's still very busy over on that bed with common carder bees who are foraging on Viper's bugloss. We have seen the rare brown-banded carder bee, which we know has got a population along the Lea Valley, but that's come in and visited our plants as well.
And it particularly liked the kidney vetch when it had really big yellow flowers. It absolutely loved them. The beds are quite experimental because, as Gerry says, they've got concrete underneath, which makes it actually even harder to grow on. So it's particularly even more important that the beds in the sun, that has drought-tolerant plants in, have incredibly good drainage. So it's sand, gravel with just a little bit of soil underneath, really.
And different ones, didn't you? You did some that are more sandy, less nutrient, and some that are richer. The
ones at the back are very shallow actually for planting, but they've done incredibly well because they're in the shade. You can have much more richer, moisture retentive soil in it. But if you put that in these ones, with our wet winters, the drought tolerant plants, the roots would rot. So it's, you know, it's a kind of balance, and it's all quite experimental.
I mean, it's the beds are looking lovely at the moment, and it's late. As I say, we're into autumn now. But how are they doing over summer during the drought?
Before the rain, certainly the large bed behind you was suffering, but amazingly that rain and things that I thought had actually died completely are back flowering again. So it's resilient, and it's almost only been watered with the rain, which, as you know, we've hardly had any of this year.
I mean, you've done an amazing job, but there's also a group of volunteers as well.
Yes. Oh, yes. I don't do this on my own at all. Yes, we've had quite a lot of volunteers. We just do it once a month. In the first year, we didn't do anything. We weren't sure what was going to happen, and then decided that it did need. You've got, although mess and things are great for invertebrates and things, people don't like it as much, and we're trying to encourage people to plant wildflowers as much as possible at home. So there's got to be a balance between looking good and being good for pollinators and things.
So the garden's now on the Hackney Buzzline, which is a pollinator corridor that we're creating next to the Lea, up through Hackney, and hopefully soon up into Haringey as well. So we're creating this chain of pollinator pit stops or pollinator havens, regular interviews along a corridor to create that connectivity for pollinators that can support the population, as I say, all the way along the River Lea. The garden was built on a shoestring budget. I think it shows that with a bit of knowledge and expertise, what you can do in just the most inhospitable of areas, really, and conditions. That you can bring nature back, just, you know, with planters, with ponds, with log piles, and with some simple interventions that you can make, as I say, in the most inhospitable conditions. We're on a concrete car park here.
Yeah, absolutely. And I have to say, even I was, you know, I've been gardening for many, many years, but I was surprised how well it did, I think.